materials to the mountains. Second, do not cook or camp in the mountains. Third, do not litter cigarette butts. Your small actions are the first step towards protecting the beautiful forest. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산영어방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call
지역 경제가 힘차게 출발합니다. 기업들이 고객을 향해 더 빨리 가려면 방송 광고라는 엑셀을 밟으세요. 경제도 기업도 더 힘차게 달려가니까요. 방송 광고의 작은 힘, 경제의 큰 힘입니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Iran war is affecting all of us all around the world. We'll focus on how it is hitting home domestically in a little bit, but what about the rest of the world? Well, the war has disrupted major oil refineries and pipelines. Officials do worry that this could be worse than the 1970s oil shocks. Shipping and trade heavily impacted. Ships forced to reroute, supply chain interruptions, and things like petrochemicals, fertilizers, and other commodities are spurring inflation. And things like construction, every industry basically facing higher costs. Well, what about global travel? That's been impacted as well with airspace closures, flight cancellations, and of course, let's not talk about the ticket prices going up as well. Financial markets. And yes, those include airlines and travel-related stocks. They have fallen. And defense and energy stocks, they have actually surged. And this might be just the tip of the iceberg. Anyhow, let's begin our morning together. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, March 24th on BEFM 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. And I have to say this morning, wow, we had a deluge of just like all the early birds coming in and saying hello on our YouTube, chat. So thank you for that. And for those of you joining us through the radio, the BFM app, however you're tuning into us, we welcome each and every one of you. I do want to begin with a question. Have your day-to-day activities changed at all because of what's happening in the Middle East? Well, for many of us, the impact is likely concentrated on things like gas prices. And I know for those of you who are, looking at our chat room, people are really into like investing these days. So that might be impacted as well. Maybe some of us are driving less or taking the bus or the subway, public transportation. Busan Metro reported a 5.6% increase in passengers just this month. But even for buses, they're struggling with a rise in fuel prices. Let's bring this to our city, Busan, and the Busan Central Bus Terminal, which sees an average of 374 buses departing from the terminal each day. And these are all diesel vehicles. So one bus apparently goes through anywhere between 125 and 200 liters of diesel per day, which means that just 101 per liter increase in fuel price leads to millions of won going up in operational costs. An official from a local bus company said that they have paid 2 million won extra for fuel in just the first 20 days of this month. On top of this, the war and the subsequent economic impact have put a damper on travel demand, even for domestic travel. With this, the bus terminal saw a 6% drop in users this month compared to the same time last year. Of course, this has directly hit the overseas travel industry, like I said, both for safety concerns, but also for cost reasons. And this has impacted other travel-adjacent industries, including retail. Take the duty-free industry, for example, which is also struggling with the high won to dollar currency rate. So once again, the impact of the Middle East conflict is expanding even within the domestic economy, and we are very much apprehensively watching how much longer this will go on. And so we're going to definitely tackle this throughout the program, and I'll give you a little peek into our special interview in a bit. In the meantime, it's time for a text topic on this beautiful spring day. All right, here we go. What sports did you play or were you in as a child? 내가 어릴 때 하거나 배웠던 운동은, 스포츠는 뭘까요? I'm going to go first because I can. I have the mic. I have tried. I took gymnastics class, swimming class, figure skating, whether soccer. I've probably tried every single sports related little kiddies class, like 맛보기 다 해본 것 같아요. So I want to hear from you. When you were a child, what kind of sports were you into? What did you play, or did your mom force you into some sort of class? I know here in Korea, taekwondo is really popular, really popular. So maybe you did that. Maybe you did something else like komdo, whatever it is. I want to hear all about it. Send them into BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. By the way, the text topic is very much related to a story coming on in hour number 2. And you can check us out. Go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM 부산영어방송 to find our channel. You can subscribe, log in, and then chat with our other waivers from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That will cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. So find our account first, BEFM 부산영어방송. Type that in. 친구 찾기, and then add that in. And then you got to add us as a friend. And then you can send your messages, photos as well. Also, the ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan. If you're in Busan on the radio, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. And we are streaming live right now on YouTube. Check us out. And then we're also available on the BFM app and the Papang app as well. Looking ahead to our Tuesday morning together, the lineup goes like this. We have Jian coming in for Now in Busan. It's like a daily corner, and sometimes I forget. Sorry. And then we have Haley for Top Stories and Wa글와글 Tea Time. And then we have Andrew. It's Tuesday. He's coming in for Wave Sports. Hopefully, he will not be wearing that 트로트 jacket today. I have a feeling he won't. It's past St. Patrick's Day. In hour number 2, we have Bonnie with Simply Sustainable. Our special interview today, we are going to be tackling what's happening in the Middle East, but from the perspective of energy, escalation, and global risks. Our expert later on, he's going to be talking about this very fluid situation right now of what's happening there and, of course, the implications of what's happening. That's coming up in hour number 2. I'll be back with News Overview. It's now 7:07. This is News Overview. 3 dead in wind turbine fire. 3 outsourced workers have died after a fire broke out at a wind turbine in Yeongdeok County yesterday during maintenance work. President stresses self-reliant defense amid global situation. President Lee Jae-myung yesterday underscored the importance of self-reliant defense capabilities in face of a very complex and fluid international situation amid the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. Government assures there will be no significant oil supply disruption. The Trade Ministry said yesterday there will be no significant oil supply disruptions next month, dispelling industry concerns amid the prolonged Middle East crisis. Kospi drops by 6% as the currency hits 1,510 won. The benchmark Kospi plummeted over 6% yesterday, closing at 5,405.75, while the Korean won hit a new 17-year low against the dollar. Trump and Tehran tell different accounts of ceasefire talks. U.S. President Donald Trump said that the U.S. and Iran held talks on the complete resolution of hostilities in the Middle East, while Iran denied that talks were taking place. This was News Overview. It's now time for Now in Busan. We have Jian in the studio. Let's say hi first. Happy Tuesday.
Good morning.
Yay, yay. So I want to ask you our text topic first. It's all about, sports that you participated in or you were into when you were a kid.
So yes, my dad wanted to be an athlete when he was young.
Oh.
But he couldn't become an athlete. Now
okay.
he's he knows every kind of sports.
Really?
Like in front of the TV, anything.
In front of the TV?
He doesn't play it.
Are you dissing your dad?
Sorry, Dad. 아빠 미안.
아버지 죄송합니다. 네.
But he watches everything. And when he finally had his first child, which is me, he wanted me to try everything that he watches.
Like, give us some examples.
Like speed skating, like swimming.
Speed skating,
yes.
Wow,
Instead of
멋있다.
figure skating.
Oh, instead of
for
figure
your
skating?
daughter.
Yeah, I did figure. You did speed skating. Okay, what else?
Speed skating, swimming, even like soccer.
Yes.
He didn't even put me into some kind of class. He just wanted me to play soccer with other boys.
He was just like, 나가 놀아.
Just kick a ball, try it.
I love it.
So yes, I tried many types, but none of them were
Have you
mine.
ever tried T-ball?
T-ball? I don't think we have it in...
Oh, yeah. In the States, it was a thing. T-ball, it's like literally...
Is it like
on
a baseball?
Tee. It's kind of like baseball, but for kiddies.
I see.
And then it's like,
I
you
think I've
hit it.
seen
It's
it, yes.
stationary. There's no ball coming toward you. So yeah, that was a thing in the States. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, now I'm thinking of all the other things. Did you ever try tetherball?
What is tetherball?
Tetherball, there's a pole, there's a
Okay.
long rope, and at the end of the rope, there's a ball.
Okay.
And it's kind of like pigu, but it's one-on-one. And it's because it's tied to the ball is tethered to the pole. You keep on hitting it, and it goes round and round the pole. And then I don't think the objective is to hit your opponent in the face, but 결과적으로는
like pigu.
얼굴 많이 맞았어요, 저. All right, well, we digress. We're going to jump into Now in Busan. Let's get an update on Kumjongsan National Park.
Yes.
I hear that they're holding a vote for the mascot. So what's happening?
Kimjongsan National Park is still looking for its official mascot. A public vote is now underway to select symbolic animal and plant species to represent the park, and the vote will run through this Thursday, March 26th.
Yes, and what kind of mascot are they looking for?
Officials explain that they want wildlife that reflects the ecological, geographical, and cultural identity of the area. The goal is to choose species that best showcase Kimjongsan Mountain's unique natural characteristics.
Yes, and last time we mentioned the kori, a salamander, and now that it's a vote rather than just a suggestion, do we
Right.
have a full list of candidates?
Yes, there are 8 candidates in total, 4 animals and 4 plants.
Oh, okay.
On the animal side, the list includes the Kori salamander, Kori 도롱뇽, which has been spotted on Kimjongsan Mountain before, and the Yangsan clawed salamander, Yangsan 꼬리칠의 도롱뇽, and 2 more others. For the plants, candidates include the narrow-leaf campion, 가는 동작꽃, and Korean lily, 큰 하늘나리 in Korean. All of these species have high ecological conservation value and strongly reflect the unique biological resources of Kimjongsan Mountain.
Okay, well, that sounds really, really interesting. How can people participate in this? Because I'm sure people want to definitely vote on this, right?
Yes.
So I guess now that those are the full list of candidates, they're going to have to, I guess, choose one, right?
Right.
Okay.
Voters can choose one animal and one plant from the candidate lists, and participation is available online through the official pages.
Got it. All right, let's move on to a budget update from Busan. What's been decided?
The Special Committee on Budget and Accounts of the Busan City Council has approved a revised version of the 2026 first supplementary budget.
Yes.
The total budget comes to about 281.3 billion won, while the original allocations for the general and special accounts remained.
So what was adjusted during this review?
Several spending items were cut, including a market redevelopment consulting project, support for the 44th Korea Theater Festival in Busan, and some exhibition and forum programs.
Right.
At the same time, funding was increased for areas like good price businesses, overseas marketing, shared research and design equipment, the City Sports Council, and domestic tourism promotion.
So what happens next?
The remaining balance has been set aside as reserve funds, with some additional recommendations attached to specific projects. Officials say the focus was on stabilizing people's livelihoods amid rising prices and economic uncertainty. The plan is expected to receive final approval at a plenary session today on the 24th.
Got it. All right, next up, let's talk about Busan rolling out a new plan for early childhood education and care. What's the focus here?
Busan's Education Office is launching a plan to better integrate kindergartens and daycare centers. About 5 billion won will be invested to build the foundation for this initiative.
Yes. So what kind of programs are included?
The plan includes pilot institutions and weekend care hubs, along with joint cultural and arts programs between kindergartens and daycare centers. It also expands emotional and psychological support, such as visiting counseling services and improve safety in childcare environments.
Which are very important. But I also want to know, how does this affect parents and families directly?
There will be direct financial support as well, including 190,000 won per month for private kindergarten education and an additional 60,000 won per month for daycare centers. Evening and weekend care services will also be expanded to make childcare more manageable. Officials say the goal is to create a more stable and consistent system tailored to local needs.
All right. Thanks for letting us know about this. For our final item today, we're going to talk about new financial support for families with multiple children. What's being offered?
That's right. To help ease the financial burden on families with multiple children, Busan City has opened applications for the Multi-Child Education Support Points program. The initiative is aimed especially at helping families at the start of the school year.
Right. So this is good news, but everybody wants to know who is eligible and how much support are we talking about?
Families with multiple children who have lived in Busan for at least 3 months can apply as long as at least one child born between 2008 and 2019 is currently attending school. 300,000 won will be provided for families with 2 children, while families with 3 or more children will receive 500,000 won in education support points.
Oh, this will be helpful. Well, the support points that you keep on mentioning, how can that be used?
The points will be provided through Busan's local currency, 동백전, and can now be used at more places this year. In addition to bookstores and study-related facilities, optical shops have been newly included to support students' vision care and overall learning environment.
Oh, that's a good idea. So how can families apply for this?
Applications are open through December 11th and can be submitted via the 동백전 mobile application. If the child and applicant are registered in the same household, the points will be issued immediately, while for separate households, a family relationship verification process will be conducted.
Okay.
A dedicated call center is also available for those who have difficulty applying via the application.
All right. Thanks for all the good local information today, Jian. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. We have a major story. A car has flipped over on Byeongno coming into the city at the end of Munhyun overpass. It is being taken care of right now, but there's backup. And once again, a car has flipped over. Please be aware of this area. It is congested on the Dongso overpass from Hwangryong ramp to Daegum. It's backed up on Luno Samsung-daedo from Myeongji underpass to Shinho Bridge. And there's traffic on Mandok-daedo from Sukdeung to Deokjeon intersection. Currently, it's 9 degrees Celsius here in Busan under clear skies. The daytime high will go up to 15 degrees with clouds rolling in by the afternoon. However, bad fine dust and ultra fine dust levels detected right now in Busan. Across the weather nation, actually, the bad air quality is actually pretty much across the country. It will warm up significantly in the afternoon, going up to 20 degrees in some areas. Dry air across the central and Gyeongbuk region, so please be careful when handling fire. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yes, we want to hear about your tetherball experience.
I mean, good, but also childhood mini traumas like pouring in of me playing the tetherball and it hitting me smack in the face.
It's painful.
And I wore glasses back then. Yeah, so nothing major, but like the nose pieces, they did dig into my nose. Indentations were
Yes.
made. And then we were just like running around. Like I ran straight into the monkey bar. That was just stupidity. I was not an athletic child. Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine Haley running into the monkey
Bam!
bar.
And then I was
Yes.
on the ground.
So what other sports?
My mom put me in a lot of stuff. So I did taekwondo.
Uh-huh.
Blue or green? It was like a bluish. I remember there being a bluish hue around my
Bluish
waist.
green, okay.
Blue or green
Yes,
belt. And then I did ballet for a little bit. Ice skating, speed skating. And then, what's that? We played badminton. I loved playing badminton. And my nephew's right at that age where that's all he wants to do. And
That's
I'm
such
like,
a fun sport.
bring it.
Right.
Kid, let's do this.
I don't know, but in the States, badminton was not a thing.
It wasn't
You
a
were.
thing.
I'll be honest. You were made fun of if you played table tennis or.
But kind of
badminton.
it was. I don't think it is now.
Not now. Back in the day, though, it was definitely a thing.
We're talking decades ago.
Yeah.
Those are kind of considered like dorky.
like nerdy
sports.
But we
yeah.
always played them like at camp. Any camp that I was enrolled in, there was always a table tennis.
I think I
Like,
vaguely
you know,
remember there being one. I
ping
never
pong, yes.
approached one, but yeah.
But
like,
now
okay.
it's like it's not
yeah,
like that.
whole other
Yes.
thing.
We're going to jump into some top stories. We're going to begin with the investigation into the Daejeon Auto Parts plant fire.
Right, so we're talking about the fire that killed 14 people and injured 60 others. So the police and the Daejeon Regional Office of Labor conducted a joint raid of the company 안전공업's headquarters, the plant, and also the CEO's home yesterday.
Right.
The agencies collectively sent in 60 investigators, and they secured computers and looked into whether the company had properly carried out the safety and accident prevention measures. They also seized documents and employees and executive cell phones to see how the fire safety was managed on site.
Sure.
The authorities will also look into the background over that particular gym that was built on this extra space that was built without authorization. The authorities also conducted a joint inspection of the scene of the fire with
Right.
15 police officers, 16 firefighters, and 6 officials from the National Forensic Service, also with 2 family members of the deceased.
I see. Well, the CEO of the company was booked yesterday. So what charges is he facing?
Right, so the Daejeon Labor Office said that it has booked CEO Son Ju-han and other executives and employees on the potential violation of the Serious Accidents Punishment Act, the SAPA, and also OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Act.
Right.
However, as for the others who are booked alongside the CEO, the officials didn't confirm the identity of those individuals.
I see. And as this investigation is ensuing, there are reports that point to at least some human-caused factors that may have contributed to such extreme numbers of casualties.
Right, so we do not yet know what exactly caused the fire. However, to the high number of casualties, again, 14 dead and 60 injured, 9 of the deceased were found around that gym area.
Right.
That leads to some potential lapses in safety management. Again, we talked about that unapproved gym structure.
Yes.
Now there are reports that point to the cutting oil, 절상유. When you cut metal, there is oil there to lubricate it and the industrial process.
Right.
According to the JTBC report, they cited multiple online community posts from employees expressing concerns about the safety from the cutting oil. One employee back in October of 2024 wrote that the grease and oil all over the floor made it slippery to walk. And this person's knees were hurting just from trying to keep balance. In August of 2023, one post said that the oil is just misting in the air, and this person was afraid of explosions.
Right.
Again, if there's cutting of metal and other
Yes.
hardware going on, there might be sparks. Even the fire department over the weekend said that the buildup of oil and grease may have contributed to the combustion.
Okay.
So reports say that this could have been in violation of the company's duty to maintain cleanliness of the workplace and also clean up harmful substances.
I see. So once again, this investigation is just getting started and we'll continue to follow it. All right, the next story is a continuation of what I talked about in the opening, how the conflict in the Middle East is affecting the domestic economy beyond fuel.
Right, just beyond the gas and diesel,
Yes.
petrochemicals, Hyo-joo, these companies are having a hard time producing or procuring rather raw material due to the conflict in the Middle East. Because lay people, mostly me, we might think that petrochemicals are completely out of my life. Like,
Right,
what do
right.
I have to do with it? Industrial. However, these companies, so they process oil, natural gas, and naphtha into essential chemical building blocks.
Sure.
What are they? Plastics. Well, that's all around us.
Yes.
Synthetic fiber, so polyester. Pretty sure I'm wearing some right now. Fertilizers, rubber, resin, and industrial chemicals. And these are all foundational material for everyday items like packaging, clothing, even your garbage bags.
Yes, indeed. So they're basically everywhere, all around us. We just don't really
Realize it,
realize it,
yes.
right? So what's the status of the companies in terms of their stockpiles?
Right. Of course, it differs from company to company, but those in the industry overall say that they are okay until March. But keep in mind, today is the 24th.
Yes.
But if these supply issues continue until April, they may have to see setbacks in production. So on top of this, 90% of the country's 20,000 plastic processing companies they're smaller enterprises, meaning 20 or fewer employees. So a prolonged supply setback will cause problems. Usually smaller companies are hit harder because they physically and financially do not have the capacity to have mountains of stockpile. So with this, those in the industry are calling for diversifying the supply route. However, one option that's been proposed is to go through Russia, Vladivostok, but that has its own issues with its own war going on.
Yes.
But overall, it's generally reducing the dependency on the Middle East.
Right. You mentioned that these plastics, they also are in packing material, which basically affects every industry.
Right. So we have some listeners even in our chat room from certain industries. They're having some trouble already. And then over the weekend, there were some posts on social media with 종량제 봉투, right? The standardized garbage bags.
Right.
Some people having trouble or at least trying to stock up on them. Right now, cosmetics and even fashion industries are trying to come up with alternatives in case of shortages. Because while petrochemicals do not go into your makeup, they are involved in the container that the said makeup comes in. So those in the industry say that they're already seeing signs of some packaging companies trying to raise prices. While larger cosmetics companies, they do have plenty of containers in stock. Again, we're talking about smaller and mid-sized companies. Do they also have that on hand?
Yes.
Food manufacturers are also keeping an eye on the situation as these materials are needed for the packaging.
Indeed. So far-reaching. Thank you for letting us know about this. And now we're going to move on to South Korea's staple crop, which is rice. Rice prices, they've been on the up and up. What isn't going up, seriously?
Because the thing is, though,
Yes.
we have plenty of rice. So why are the prices up? Because
Why?
we all learned in Econ 101, when supply goes up, then prices are supposed to go down. Supposed to go down,
Yes.
but that's not happening. So what's been happening? The retail price of the 20-kilogram bag of rice has been in the 6만 원, the 60,000 won range for the past 7 months.
Right.
6만 2천 원, 62,000 as of March 20th. That's an increase of 13% from the same time last year.
Right.
The 10-kilogram sack of rice has been going up at an even steeper rate at 25%. And here's what's different, because usually after the fall harvest, that's in October,
Right.
prices go down because, well, we've harvested rice. There's more of it. However, that hasn't happened this year.
So why are rice prices still high even after the harvest?
Right. So experts are pointing to government policy. So what the Agriculture Ministry does, it quarantines rice. So that means it holds it back on releasing the rice to stabilize prices.
Right.
Usually that's to prevent rice prices from plummeting, falling too much, which would hurt the farmers.
Yes.
But in 2024, they may have overshot this by 4.6 times the excess production.
Oh, okay. And starting this August, this is going to be written into law?
Right, so that's under the Grain Management Act, the 양곡관리법. So this law says that if the production of rice of the margin of price go above a certain level, the government is required to buy up the surplus, so hold it back from being released from the market. So if the government signals that it is buying up rice, however, that could increase prices on the market.
Okay.
And potentially lead to this bizarre against the theory problem of oversupply, but still high prices.
Which, once again, we just don't
We
get.
do not want.
We don't want that. Okay. We're going to move on to some international news. While the war against Iran has been going on, Israelis have also been carrying attacks in the West Bank.
Right. So now we're going into Israel-Palestine issue. A little bit of background. So occupied Palestinian territory, so because Palestine isn't an internationally recognized country, it is divided into two areas. Number one, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, both in part occupied by Israel.
Yes.
So Gaza is controlled by Hamas, the armed group, and the West Bank, that's called 서안지구, it's under Palestinian Authority and also Israeli security control.
Yes. And so, of course, we know about the situation in Gaza and the war there, but we are actually focusing on the West Bank.
Right. So the
Yes.
situation in Gaza, that's been where the war has been going on for the past several years with a very tense ceasefire. However, I do want to go to the West Bank because here Israeli settlers have been continuing their expansion. So
Yes.
Israelis have been trying to occupy and live in the area, but that's actually illegal under international law. However, that doesn't mean it's not been happening. Israeli forces and settlers have apparently killed more than 1,000 Palestinians in the West Bank, and that's been happening since October of 2023. And these figures are according to the United Nations.
Okay.
The UN also said that Israeli policies in the West Bank, they risk forcibly displacing Palestinian communities, meaning people are losing their homes and livelihoods.
Yes.
So the reason I bring this now, if that's been going on since October 2023, well, recently there's been increasing reports of violence against Palestinians by Israeli settlers, especially with the launch of the war against Iran.
So what kind of violence are we talking about?
Right, so since March 1st, 6 Palestinians have been killed by settlers, again, according to the United Nations. So in the latest escalation, it seems that there's kind of been a domino. So an 18-year-old Israeli settler was killed. So he was riding this quad bike, so that's kind of a bike but has 4 wheels, a 4-wheeler.
Yes.
On Saturday, this was a car accident. However, the driver of that car, Palestinian. We don't know. Authorities don't know whether that accident was intentional or accidental. However, while the police are investigating the case, some vigilante justice has been ongoing.
Yes.
Jewish extremists on social media, they've claimed this revenge campaign. And that includes more than 20 settler attacks that have been reported overnight, including setting Palestinians' homes on fire, with about 100 masked settlers partaking in this violence. violence, and that's according to a defense official cited by Israeli media.
Right. And again, these are cases of violence perpetrated by individual Israeli settlers. But what are the security forces doing about this? Are they doing anything?
No, and that's been kind of another problem. Reports saying that security forces were standing by on the outskirts of these villages, but didn't really go in to stop them.
Okay.
Witnesses told foreign press that the Israeli troops and police were on the outskirts. So human rights organizations say that these attacks often happen with little accountability, meaning the people who perpetrate this vigilante justice, they are not found out or they do not face prosecution.
Yes.
The Israeli military said that it has responded to incidents involving Israeli civilians carrying out arson against structures and property and disturbances. However, no one has been arrested, at least according to reports.
All right. Well, thanks for giving us the lowdown on this story, plus all the top stories. And we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right. We are ready for a song break right around now. This is 최유리's 어떤가요? I'll be back in a moment.
날 그대와 그렸던 사랑 얘기 이젠 먼 나를 뜻해 어떤 맘이었든 간에 나의 그대 날 저 멀리 떠나가는 그런 날은 익숙해 마음 아픈 날도 없네 난 이런 날의 끝에 멍해지곤 해 늘 그랬어 이곳은 내가 아닌 다른 사랑을 찾는 듯해 날 걱정해도 돼 난 여태 너를 기다렸어 난 어느새 또 작아진 맘을 붙잡아와 더 걱정해도 돼 난 아직 모든 게 불안한 겁이 많고 적이 많은 내가 그대는 어떤가요 날 그대와 그렸던 사랑 얘기 이젠 더 멀어지네 저만치 걸어가네 나의 그대 날 저 멀리 떠나가네 그런 날은 익숙하지만 맘 다쳐가네 난 이런 날의 끝에 멍해지곤 해 늘 그랬어 이곳은 내가 아닌 다른 사랑을 찾는 듯해 날 걱정해도 돼 난 여태 너를 기다렸어 난 어느새 또 작아진 맘을 붙잡아와 더 걱정해도 돼 난 아직 모든 게 불안한 겁이 많고 적이 많은 내가 그대는 어떤가요
It is time for Wave.
Sports.
Oh, what's with the cute sports?
Sports.
Professor Andrew,
Support-
not Miller, but
Just
Andrew
put
Murphy.
together.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
You
Yourself?
look so nice today.
Oh, well, geez, you're going to make me blush. Oh,
I
geez.
know. You look so
my
nice, so
gosh.
professorial, I was saying.
Yeah. Just try to put myself together once a month at least. Once a month.
Once a month.
But it is funny.
Yes.
My kids, there was one day that maybe last semester or something, I came in for a show and I was, I go usually right from here to school.
Yes.
And I was dressed relatively nice. And then it was like one time during the summer or winter, like when it was vacation time, and I'm in here in like, especially in the summer, like board shorts and a t-shirt or something. They're like, Dad, that's quite different. And I'm like,
That's quite spiffy.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, well,
Leslie's saying Andrew's giving off English prof vibes.
No, well, thank you, Leslie.
All right. Well, this is Wave Sports, but we have a sports question for you.
Oh, yeah,
When
let's
you
hear
were
it.
a kid,
Sure, still am, but okay, keep going.
yeah, like a real kid, not kid at heart.
Yeah.
But what sports were you like enrolled in, or what did you do? What kind of sports besides hockey?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Took my line.
Yeah.
I would say, like, in my family, hockey was king. My brother played a lot of hockey growing up, and he was pretty good. So
Yeah.
I was kind of a rink rat. I followed him around a lot. But also soccer or football.
Yes.
We weren't really much of a baseball family.
Neither were we.
Yeah, but I feel it was because my brother played, and he found it boring. So then none of us, I didn't play after that.
You didn't follow in his
Yeah,
footsteps.
so
Got it.
but then when I was in high school, I played rugby as well as hockey and soccer, and I kind of enjoyed rugby almost more than the other two. Because it was it's a total team sport.
It's rough and tumble also.
But it was also fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it helped because we were good. Shout out Simon's High School.
Andrew. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to dive into some real sports.
Yeah. Well, what are
going
you
on?
talking about? Come on now.
The real
So we're going to get
sports.
to some LPGA here and talking about Kim
Yay.
Hyo-joo.
Woohoo.
Let's get to our clip to lead this one off.
She bent, but she did not break. And Hyo-joo Kim outlasts Nelly Korda to win the Fortinet Founders Cup for a second time.
오늘 라운드가 쉽지 않은 라운드였던 것 같고 첫날 너무 잘 치고 둘째 날 조금 힘들었고 또 어제도 너무 잘 치고 오늘 좀 힘든 라운드가 예상이 됐는데 아니나 다를까 네 동타까지 가고 또 마지막에도 또 실수도 하고 많이 힘든 하루였지만 그래도 우승을 해서 정말 다행인 것 같고 기쁜 것 같습니다.
So I was telling you off air, Andrew, it was intense, ups
Yeah.
and downs and valleys and
I tuned in to a few bits of this,
Right.
the live, and then also the replay that's usually on throughout the day. And so I was kind of thinking, all right, it seems like she's got it together.
And then
it was like, okay, she doesn't.
Yeah,
and
she's
then
not
she
gonna do it.
does. Yeah, so I don't know. So Kim Hyo-joo went wire to wire to claim her 8th career LPGA title. Oh my God. Winning the Founders Cup in California at 16 under par. I guess, maybe for us saying it wasn't sure, but she was 16 under. But it was because she was holding off Nelly Korda. And that is not an easy feat to do.
It's not. It's not.
So, she beat her by a single shot in a tense final round. But there were other golfers that were right there or thereabouts throughout the entire weekend.
Absolutely.
And had rounds that you're like, oh, okay. They're going to push themselves into that final chase on the final day, and then they fell off. Other golfers came into it. So, yeah, it was a bit of an up and down weekend, but luckily for her, she finished on the upswing, was able to lift this trophy for the second time in her LPGA career, which is quite amazing as well because, this is now she's won in 3 different decades.
Yes.
She won this as a teenager in her rookie season.
Wow. Amazing.
I don't know. It's like can you imagine it's like $300,000 your rookie season? Oh, thank you.
Laughing all the way to the bank.
All the friends are like, what are we doing this weekend?
I know.
I'm
Hedging.
golfing. I need more money. There you go.
Love it.
So, for that one there, it'll lead into next weekend. Hopefully, we haven't seen a back-to-back like winners. I guess Gino's done it, but Nelly did it at the start of last season. It was 3 in a row or 4 in a row, I believe it was.
Right.
But for one of the Korean women to go back to back, it's been a while since we've seen that.
Yes.
So hopefully, going into next weekend or this coming weekend, she can have some good luck as well.
All right. So great to hear about that win. Let's move on to our next story. And this is regarding TV rights for sports here in Korea. So this is a hot issue.
A hot issue, and it's something that during the Olympics, you and I chatted about because we were a little, I want to put this nicely, disgruntled.
We were a little miffed.
Yeah, there we go. With the coverage, or should we say the lack of coverage is the highlight here. So South Korea's media regulator held a public forum this week to address growing concerns over access to major international sporting events. The discussion, organized by the Korea Media Communications Commission, comes after criticism surrounding limited viewing options for the recent Winter Olympics in Milano and Cortina. And this is what we're talking about, where we were not very happy about this, which were broadcast exclusively by JTBC. Now, the network holds, this is the one that people might not be happy about, but hopefully by having this open forum, it will change things.
Okay.
But JTBC holds a long-term rights to both the Olympics through 2032. That's summer and winter. All right. That changed your tune a little bit there. And the World Cup through 2030. So this World Cup
plus next.
And the next one. But failed negotiations to share coverage with major terrestrial broadcasters left many fans without easy access. And this is what we were talking about, a little off air, but also once before, that, typically the major local broadcasters, they'll share it, they'll do whatever, or maybe not share it, but usually you can flick through 2 or 3 different channels.
Exactly.
And now, especially with online broadcasting, you could get it there as well.
Right.
Some of those are paid subscriptions or whatnot. But what happened here was apparently maybe the asking price from JTBC was a little high for local broadcasters. Now, the other thing was, and this was interesting when this was brought up. Now, the issue has sparked wider debate about how global sporting events should be delivered to the public.
Right.
Now, President Lee Jae-myung recently called for changes, noting that reduced accessibility may have dampened national interest compared to previous tournaments. Now, there was some things that came out here that said, leading up to this, there didn't seem to be as much public interest. So that's maybe why they kind of distance themselves and was like, okay, we're not going to put this much money into it.
I don't know, but I feel like the coverage this time around, and I say it very carefully, it might have actually added to the lack of enthusiasm. And I say it as a person. This is my opinion.
For sure.
Right. So it kind of feeds into itself.
I feel it's a growing thing now. Right. If you look at the World Baseball Classic, which was on, you could get that on.
It was on everything.
Everything.
Every channel.
With the Premier League, that's exclusive now to a couple of different broadcasters.
Right.
But for this here, I found all it would have taken is one of the speed skaters to be going into the final.
Right.
And everyone would have tuned in. So I guess they also look at it through a budget to make sure they're going to make that money back through advertisements, commercials, and things like that. But it wasn't just the lack of coverage. It seemed like it was on and then other sports were on. Whereas the other broadcasters would have just been exclusively that for the 2 weeks. I don't know. JTBC is huge in the golf as well.
Yes.
So they were kind of going back and forth. I just feel like it could have been organized a little bit better or had a specific one of their channels. I think they have 3 channels.
Right.
They could have been just. Just for that.
Cable, but yes. Yes, so we're just going to leave it at that. I mean, the experts had their say. We as lay people, we have our say as well. But
at least it's being put out there.
I love that there's a discussion.
Exactly. I think that's a starting point for sure.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll have better coverage for everybody. Let's move on. Let's talk about some shocking news from Africa.
Yeah, not something we talk about too often.
Right.
Especially with sports. But this is something I had talked about, a while ago, and that is the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations.
That's right.
Now, in a dramatic twist to one of the most chaotic finals in recent history. Now, I reported on this after it happened. Morocco
Yes.
has officially been awarded the African Cup of Nations title after an appeals court overturned Senegal's victory. This is something that
This
is
is like-
unprecedented in sports. Once the game is finished,
It's done.
It's done.
It's
and
done.
the referee has the final say on the field of play. When that's done, you can't go back and change, anything that's happened. All right. If there was a goal that was kicked in or touched by a hand or something like that.
Yeah.
So now this is pretty amazing. Now, the Confederation of African Football determined that Senegal forfeited the match after players temporarily walked off the field in protest during stoppage time, turning what had been a 1-0 extra time win from Senegal into a 3-0 result in favor of Morocco. Now, if people are wondering where do they get this 3-0,
Yeah.
whenever a match is abandoned or somebody stops playing or it's forfeited,
Right.
it's an automatic 3-0 score.
Why did they walk off?
This is
They're
because
just
at the end of it, there was a disallowed Senegal goal.
yes.
And then the crowd was going pretty crazy about it.
Right.
There was a disputed penalty, and they walked off.
Ooh.
And they only came back after individuals like Sadio Mane and other players were like, hey, let's get out there.
That's the match you're talking about. Okay.
And then, but this
Don't
could
they have
go.
VAR though?
They do, but there's always disputes in the AFCON, and I'll leave it at that.
And then in the booth has Philip, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The VAR
so
booth.
there is a
Yes.
potential appeal as well that could go to CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And then we'll see how that goes there. So
Wow,
this is
though.
one that it happened last week. And, the football world was just like, what is going on?
Right.
But also for individuals in, Africa and African football, they were like, okay, this is shining a light on how much needs to be done in African football.
Yes.
Because to make it a lot more legitimate, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the doors.
Right.
But because it's African football, we don't hear about it as much.
That's true. But you're reporting on it. I appreciate it.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes. We're shedding, turning the spotlight.
But
on
if there
this.
is any more updates about this, I'm sure there will be.
I'm so curious.
Because I don't
wanna
think
know.
Senegal is just going to be like, whatever. But how would you feel if you're in Morocco? Are you going to be super pumped? Like, hey, we won, but we didn't get to celebrate.
And then
Are they gonna
it
have a
might
parade?
move on to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. So we'll await that
Imagine they have
result.
a parade. Yeah.
And I have, it seems like you have another story
Yeah,
for us.
just one more quick one
Okay.
here. And this is, we always love when sport brings, some turning tragedy into triumph or a feel-good story. So an emotional and inspiring story out of Rhode Island, high school hockey player Colin Dorgan helped lead his team to a state championship just weeks after losing his mother, brother, and grandfather in a tragic shooting during one of his games.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
a whole other side to this that I'm not going to get into, but we'll just say that this happened. Now, Dorgan returned to the ice after, taking time away to grieve, but realized I need to come back. This is also my family, and was welcomed back with open arms. Now, in this playoff run, he was an integral part to it, including scoring a dramatic double overtime winner in the semifinal to send his team to the final.
Okay.
In a state championship game was just as intense. Dorgan scoring a late goal, I believe it was in the last minute, to send the game to overtime.
Oh my gosh.
His team eventually secured the title in a quadruple overtime win. Now, throughout the run, the team rallied around one another, leaning on unity, counseling, and support to push through unimaginable circumstances. Now, the shooting did happen at the rink, so obviously it was his family who lost, 3 members.
Right.
But everyone else was affected by this as well.
Of course.
And it's just one of these things, even if they would have lost, it still would have been a success because they were able to come together and make it to that point. But the fact that after such a heartbreaking moment, they could turn that into a season where they'll never forget.
That's like a movie waiting to happen.
That was my next line
really?
for sure,
Okay,
because this is something where a lot of people wonder why do people play sport, and this is one of those reasons.
The human stories
there you go.
behind the actual sports.
Yeah.
Love it. I love
sure.
that story. Thank you for focusing on this story. We're going to call it a wrap for today.
All right.
Have a wonderful week. We'll check in with you next
All right.
week.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Everybody, this was Andrew looking real nice today. And it's time to wrap up hour number 1. We have more in hour number 2, including our usual corners, plus our special interview. We're going to focus on the energy escalation and global risks of the Iran conflict. And here's our final song for hour number 1, Epic High's Love, Love, Love. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
밤 12시 술 취해 지친 목소리 새벽 2시 차갑게 꺼진 전화기 아무도 내 맘을 모르죠 I can't stop love 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 아파도 계속 반복하죠 I can't stop love love love
있나요? 사랑해본 적 영화처럼 첫눈에 반해본 적 전화기를 붙들고 밤새 본 적 세상에 자랑해본 적 쏟아지는 비 속에서 기다려본 적 그를 향해 미친 듯이 달려본 적 몰래 지켜본 적 미쳐본 적 다 보면서도 못 본 척
있겠죠 사랑해본 적 기념일 때문에 가난해본 적 잘하고도 미안해 말해본 적 연애 편지로 날 세본 적 가족과의 약속을 밀어본 적 아프지 말라 신께 빌어본 적 증걸 피해본 적 잃어본 적 가는 뒷모습 지켜본 적 미친 듯 사랑했는데 왜 정말 난 잘해줬는데 왜 모든 걸 다 줬었는데 You got me going crazy 죽도록 사랑했는데 왜 내 몸과 맘을 다 줬는데 모든 걸 잃어버렸는데 어떡해
아무도 내 맘을 모르죠 I can't stop love 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 아파도 계속 반복하죠 I can't stop love love love
있나요 이별해본 적 빗물에 화장을 지원해본 적 긴 생머리 잘라내본 적 끄는 담배를 쥐어본 적 혹시라도 마주칠까 자리 피해본 적 보내지도 못할 편지 적어본 적 술에 마취돼서 전화 걸어본 적
여보세요
입이 얼어본 적
있겠죠 이별해본 적 사랑했던 만큼 미워해본 적 읽지도 못한 편지 찢어본 적 잊지도 못할 전화번호 지워본 적 기념일을 혼자 챙겨본 적 사진들을 다 불태워본 적 이 세상의 모든 이별 노래가 당신 얘길 거라 생각해본 적
미친 듯 사랑했는데 왜 정말 난 잘해줬는데 왜 모든 걸 다 줬었는데 You got me going crazy
죽도록 사랑했는데 왜
내 몸과 맘을 다 줬는데
모든 걸 잃어버렸는데 어떡해
아무도 내 맘을 모르죠 I can't stop love 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 아파도 계속 반복하죠 I can't stop love love love
I love you.
바보처럼 울고 또 술에 취하고 친구를 붙잡고 그 사람을 욕하고 시간이 지나고 또 술에 취하고 전화기를 붙잡고 say love
Your bridge to the world. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
인생 막창을 찾았어 이러는 만남 불만열사 막창의 신불만열사 장사의 신불만열사 여기가 인생 막창 불타는 막창 열받은 삼겹 불만열사 창문이 188-9376
한국전쟁 당시 우리를 먼저 도운 에티오피아 6천여 명의 군인들은 자신들의 월급을 모아 부모 잃은 아이들을 위해 고아원이라는 고아원도 세워주었습니다. 그러나 지금 에티오피아는 위기에 처해 있습니다. 끊이지 않는 내정과 기후재난으로 대부분의 의료시설은 파괴되었고 의약품도 부족해 간단히 치료할 수 있는 질병으로 사망에 이르는 상황입니다. 바로 지금이 우리가 에티오피아에 진 빚을 갚을 때입니다. 지금 전화해주세요. 후원 문의 080-982-0119 국제구조위원회.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
아이들과 함께 영어를 쉽고 재밌게 BEFM Kids 채널 특집 공개 방송 BEFM Kids 영어랑 놀자 Play with English. Hello, I'm DJ 윤지. 글로벌 다디 샘 해밍턴과 윌 벤더스, 영어 교육가 이보영, 그리고 귀염둥이 보기까지 총출동합니다. 선물이 팡팡, 영어 퀴즈, 신나는 싱얼롱 타임까지 절대 놓치면 안 되겠죠? 영어가 더 재밌어지는 시간 4월 28일 토요일 오후 2시 영도 국립해양박물관 1층 로비에서 만나요. 신청 및 자세한 내용은 부산영어방송 홈페이지를 참고해 주세요.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고, 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. This is 8 o'clock Spotlight News. 3 dead in wind turbine fire. 3 outsourced workers have died after a fire broke out at a wind turbine in Yeongdeok County yesterday during maintenance work. The fire broke out from a blade of a turbine at a power complex in Gyeongbuk Province around 1:11 p.m. while the workers were fixing a crack on the blade. The local government has confirmed that all 3 deceased workers were from an outside firm. Gyeongbuk police said they are investigating the case, including the possibility of professional negligence by the company. President stresses self-reliant defense amid global situation. President Lee Jae-myung yesterday underscored the importance of self-reliant defense capabilities in face of a very complex and fluid international situation amid the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. Yi made the remarks during a security meeting, which included the Joint Chiefs of Staff's briefing on the integrated defense posture, while the National Intelligence Service outlined its assessment of North Korea's situation for this year. The president also highlighted South Korea's advanced conventional military strength and defense industry, noting that its defense spending amounts to about 1.4 times North Korea's gross domestic product. Government assures there will be no significant oil supply disruption. The Trade Ministry said yesterday that there will be no significant oil supply disruptions next month, dispelling industry concerns amid the prolonged Middle East crisis. An official from the ministry emphasized the government is monitoring crude inventories in real time and believes that alternative shipments and the planned release of strategic reserves will prevent any major supply problems. In the meantime, Foreign Minister Cho Hyun spoke to Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on the phone and asked him to ensure safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz and to take steps to ease tensions and stabilize global energy supplies. Kospi drops by 6% as the currency hits 1,510 won. The benchmark Kospi plummeted over 6% yesterday, closing at 5,405.75, while the Korean won hit a new 17-year low against the dollar. The Korea Exchange issued a 5-minute sell-side sidecar to halt program trading for 5 minutes. The won was quoted as 1,517.3 to the dollar at the close of the market. Global markets have reacted sensitively to escalating tensions between the U.S. and Iran over reopening the Strait of Hormuz, with both sides threatening attacks on each other's energy infrastructure. Trump and Tehran tell different accounts of ceasefire talks. U.S. President Donald Trump said that the U.S. and Iran held talks on the complete resolution of hostilities in the Middle East, while Iran denied that talks were taking place. President Trump also said that he has postponed strikes on Iranian power plants for 5 days after he gave Tehran a 48-hour ultimatum to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian Speaker of the Parliament said that fake news was being used to manipulate oil markets. Oil and gas prices fell immediately following Trump's statement. And this was Spotlight News.
Good morning. Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning Wave in Busan.
This is your special interview on Tuesday morning. Tensions in the Iran conflict, this war, remain high with the situation increasingly centered on energy and global security. Iran has launched new missile attacks while Israel continues its strikes, keeping the conflict volatile. President Donald Trump has warned of strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure, but now has delayed action for 5 days following what he described as productive talks, creating a brief window for diplomacy. Meanwhile, G7 leaders have condemned the attacks on energy facilities and stressed the need to keep key shipping routes open. So today, we are going to take a closer look at what this means for the Middle East and global energy. Joining us is Dr. Christian Coates Ulrichsen, a fellow for the Middle East at Rice University's the Baker Institute for Public Policy and co-director of the Middle East Energy Roundtable. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. Well, I want to talk about this first, Dr. Ulrichsen. President Donald Trump had threatened strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure, but has now delayed action for 5 days, as I said in the intro, after what he called were productive talks. So how can we maybe construe this shift?
It's very difficult to try to analyze what is happening because so much depends on what President Trump seems to say at any given moment in time. And those statements have shifted significantly from day to day, sometimes even from hour to hour. Last night, I think I was extremely concerned that we were heading into an escalatory abyss where decisions will be taken on both sides that could lead to irreversible damage and destruction. And suddenly we see now potentially a pathway to a deal, at least an agreement to try to draw back from the cliff edge. Of course, the dilemma is that the Israelis may not necessarily be on board with what the Trump administration wants. But that might be something down the line for the Israelis and the US to have to consider together.
I see. And when we talk about energy infrastructure being targeted, as well, if these threats are followed through upon, what could that mean for the conflict in the global energy markets? Because up until this point, there's been targeted kind of avoidance of hitting certain infrastructure, right? So what would that mean?
Well, we had a game changer last week when Ras Laffan was hitting Qatar.
Right.
And Ras Laffan is the nerve center, the critical point in Qatar's energy infrastructure, in their case, liquefied natural gas, which goes to many countries around the world, including South Korea. And as a result of those missile attacks, 2 of the liquefied natural gas trains out of 14 were damaged to the extent that 17% of Qatar's LNG exports are going to be offline for between 3 to 5 years. And that was a game changer for gas. Had the attacks continued, had there been an escalation, Iran could have tried to do a game changer in oil in terms of taking out the facilities of the pipelines for Saudi Arabia and the UAE.
Right.
The Saudis can export via the Red Sea coast, bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. We already saw 2 ballistic missiles targeting the oil facilities at Yanbu on the Red Sea coast last Thursday. An attack on Yanbu, had it succeeded, would have really taken out the alternative to Hormuz. We've also seen Fujairah on the Gulf of Oman. Again, the UAE alternative to Hormuz also being targeted. So they could have been also game changers. And then, of course, people in the Gulf states themselves were all concerned about desalination plants where the Gulf states get between 80 and 90% of their drinking water from. And any sustained attacks on those plants would potentially have made urban centers almost unlivable within weeks. So there was a real concern about the critical infrastructure being not just targeted, but targeted in such ways that daily life becomes almost impossible.
Yes, indeed. And I also want to cover this issue that Iran recently fired missiles at the UK-US base on Diego Garcia, which does seem to indicate that the conflict may be spreading beyond just the Middle East. And of course, that on its own is terrible enough. But how serious might this escalation be? Because when we're talking about these longer range missiles being used, then that kind of really raises the eyebrows of everyone, even outside of the Middle East.
Yes, I think the point of the attempt to strike at Diego Garcia was exactly that it was Iran letting the world know that its missiles have a longer range than many might have supposed.
Right.
And are potentially not just regional countries, but countries much further afield, including many European states, are potentially within range. And so that Iran maintains an escalation ability that far surpassed military expectations. So I think that was the purpose of the Diego Garcia attempt. Even though it was intercepted, it was about the message that was being sent.
Absolutely. And with all of this going on, obviously, this war, causing so much damage in terms of civilians and just daily life for those affected. But also, we're talking about world gas, energy prices, etc. What could this conflict mean for global oil and gas prices? Because we keep on hearing about, whether it's Brent crude or whatever the measures and statistics are in terms of the prices that are surging right now.
Yes, Brent crude has increased higher by a greater percentage than, say, West Texas Intermediate, which is the US benchmark. But for those of you in South Korea and in Asia more broadly, the Dubai benchmark, which is closer to the crude benchmark that is sent to many Asian markets, has actually gone up even more. And at one point, at the end of last week, it was trading at $150 or $160 a barrel. So that shows the level of uncertainty and also the level of disruption to oil markets. Gas markets are completely blocked in terms of liquefied natural gas. It's not just Qatar. The UAE also produces liquefied natural gas for export, and their export terminal is also in the Gulf itself, so they cannot bypass Hormuz as they can with some of the oil.
Yes.
So I think we've seen over the past several weeks the biggest single disruption to oil and gas flows since at least 1973 in the Arab oil embargo. And even then that wasn't a physical disruption, it was a political one.
Right.
This time Iran has blocked, not physically blocked, but blocked by raising the cost of insurance and risk oil and gas going through the Strait of Hormuz. And nothing that President Trump says has been able yet to address that situation.
Well, with all that's been happening, how are the countries in the Middle East and beyond adjusting their energy plans to keep supplies stable? Because, of course, every country, they're in a different situation. But overall, how are the other countries adjusting?
Well, many countries in Asia especially rely on the Gulf, including Iraq and Iran, not just the Gulf states, for much higher proportions of energy imports than, say, the United States does. Even many European states have managed to diversify their energy imports, although, ironically, because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the interruption to gas supplies from Russia, many states had been diversifying by moving towards the Gulf.
Yes.
And because of energy interdependence, any disruption in one market will have a knock-on effect elsewhere. States that have managed to diversify their sources of supply to make sure they're not completely over-reliant on any one country for imports have had the most success. But again, it's a finite amount of oil and gas that's currently produced. Up until February, there was a surplus in the markets in terms of more being produced than was being used. That surplus will very quickly begin to drain away the longer there's interruption in such high volumes of supplies reaching the market. So at the beginning of this conflict, people were talking about days, possibly weeks of interruptions. We're now into the fourth week, and people are probably talking about weeks, possibly months of interruptions. And so the longer it goes on, the more serious the effects will be.
Yes. I want to squeeze one question in before our final question. Many experts seem to think that Russia, ironically, is benefiting from what's happening right now. What is your take on this?
Well, and to the extent that oil and gas prices are now much higher than they were, more money will be flowing into the Russian treasury, which is ironic from a US and European point of view, having spent so much investment to try to remove Russian oil and gas revenues from the table. And the US has also announced a partial lifting of sanctions as well. So ironically, the campaign against Iran has had a byproduct of easing a lot of financial pressure on Russia over the past month.
Indeed. And for a final wrap-up question today, Dr. Ulrichsen, in terms of this conflict right now, could it trigger even bigger issues, problems for global energy supplies? Because, for example, if the talks proceed, some people, experts are saying it's not going to happen overnight where things just kind of calm down. So do you think this is more of a mid to long-term issue that we're going to have to deal with?
I think so. And even if we had an end to the hostilities today or tomorrow, confidence to move shipping through the Strait of Hormuz will need to be reestablished over weeks, I would imagine.
Yes.
People would need to know that Iran would not keep attacking or targeting shipping, and that would likely take place over weeks. The gas in Qatar cannot simply be turned back on. It would also take some time. And of course, Qatar now has 17% less gas to send to the market. Qatar's had been planning a huge expansion of their gas facilities as well, and that will also be put back. So there will be also a future gas expansion that is now delayed. And so I think even if there is a resolution in the next few days, it'll be weeks, possibly months, before we're back to some sort of pre-February 28th normality.
Well, we're of course going to follow each facet of the story as it unfolds. But thank you so much for coming on air with us. Wishing you the very best. Thank you, Dr. Ulrichsen.
Thank you very much.
And this was our special interview with Dr. Christian Coates Ulrichsen. And of course, we're going to continue to follow this story. All right, I'll be back with your updated traffic and weather. It's now 8:17. Here's your traffic update. There is an accident on Gwangan-daegu, that top portion, right at the beginning of the Daejeon overpass. So, you know that bridge top portion is always backed up. There's even more backup because of this. Please be aware of this. Next up, there's another accident on Baegyang-daero from Danggam to Jinyang intersection right before Jinyang. Also, there's a car that's broken down on Chungnyeol-daero from Allak to Wondong intersection, about 100 meters before Wondong station. Currently, it's 10 degrees Celsius here in Busan under clear skies. It's going to go up to 15 to get today. The clouds will be rolling in this afternoon. And another thing, bad fine dust and ultra fine dust levels right now. It's pretty bad air quality-wise across much of the country. It will warm up significantly in the afternoon. In some areas, you're going to see up to 20 degrees Celsius today. Dry air across the central and Gyeongbuk region, so please be careful when handling fire. This was your traffic and weather. It is time for Wagga Wagga Tea Time. Haley's back. Welcome back.
Hello.
Yes. So in hour number 1, I talked about the economic cost of the war in Iran from South Korea's perspective. But let's talk about the actual direct cost of the war.
Right. So the question, how expensive are wars? We don't really think about that.
Right.
Of course, because the primary, first and foremost, concern is the human cost,
Yes.
the casualties, and those are, of course, priceless. However, wars cost money.
Yes.
And the Pentagon, so the U.S. Defense Department, last week sought $200 billion more for the war in Iran. So President Donald Trump said that this money is needed to replenish ammunition and other supplies that have been depleted by the conflict. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth put it more, let's just say succinctly, saying, quote, "It takes money to kill bad guys," unquote. So how much money? Well, according to the Pentagon, which told lawmakers that the war has cost the U.S. $11.3 billion in the first week alone. We're in week 4. So reports are saying that the war cost $1.3 million per minute. So I think it's been, 2 minutes since the segment started?
Yeah.
$2.6 million since I've started talking.
Okay.
So that's because, weapons build up. So a single Tomahawk missile costs about $3.5 million. So one missile equals $3.5 million.
Whoa.
And into by day 6 of the conflict, the U.S. had used 300 of such missiles.
I mean, I knew they were expensive, but like
eye-opening.
3.5 on one missile. Okay. So obviously this has environmental impact.
Right. So this is a Guardian exclusive. The war is amounting to a climate disaster. And we're talking 5 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions in the first 2 weeks alone.
Okay.
And again, we are in week 4, so double that.
Okay.
And this is according to an analysis by the Climate and Community Institute. And that has found that the war has emitted more carbon than 84 countries combined.
Wow. So how exactly is this happening?
Right. So how does war equal to carbon and greenhouse gas emissions? Well, number one, buildings are destroyed. And apparently, we don't really think about that, but this constituted the largest element of the estimated carbon cost. So according to reports by the Iranian Red Crescent, about 20,000 civilian buildings have been damaged by the conflict. And apparently, the total emissions estimated from this sector comes to 2.4 million tons of CO2 equivalent.
Okay.
And then there's fuel. That's the second biggest element. And of course, we're talking about fuel going into aircraft, support vessels, and vehicles. Analysis estimated between 150 million and 270 million liters of fuel in the first 14 days. Also, speaking of fuel, there was that literal rain of oil that fell over Tehran after Israeli bombed fuel depots in Iran.
Sure.
And then, of course, bombs, missiles, and drones themselves. But this also could be a vicious cycle, because climate scientists say that historically, after every U.S.-driven energy shock, including war, that's been followed by new drilling and thus more fossil fuel.
Ooh.
And this is all happening while the world is trying to cut down on fossil fuel.
Wow, it's a vicious cycle, like you say. Thanks for giving us the details of the cost of war. We're going to move on for now. There was outrage online over this particular post about the Daejeon fire.
And this is an unfortunate pattern we're seeing. After seemingly every tragedy, it gets either politicized or people just step out of line and really distasteful comments are made.
Okay.
This was a post on a job seeker site asking when this particular car parts company would be hiring to fill the vacancies.
No. For real?
I mean, it's there. We don't know what the intent was, but keep in mind, 14 people died and 60 others were injured from this fire. And the post said, while, I think it's tragic, of course, the deaths were very tragic, but as a job seeker, they're wondering when the company might start hiring. This particular online community has some 3.5 million members, and not even here, but the post went viral online to other sites and social media. Everyone else criticizing the writer, some saying we should be able to find out who this person is so they would never get a job at this company.
Right, because I don't know, there's a phrase like time and place. Time and place, and I guess that's the actual post we have on our YouTube page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on because that's so beyond distasteful. All right. We're going to talk about something that, I don't know, do you drink this? Milk. We're going to talk about milk. Uyu for our next story.
Got milk? Remember that?
Yeah.
So do you drink milk?
You know what? We just stopped our subscription.
Really?
Because we used to get a weekly, delivered to our door, and we would go through it very quickly. But there's only now 2.5 people in the house. I say 0.5 because Zach's never home.
Okay.
So
I was like, who are you counting as?
0.5. Not my husband. Not my Okay, don't go there. But, okay, yeah. So Zach, who is a milk guzzler, but he's never home. So, yes. So do you drink milk?
We do.
Okay.
I'm a latte drinker. That's my breakfast. A part of my breakfast is a latte, and I love milk. If I could, I would just drink chocolate milk all the time. But then, nutrition-wise, sugar-wise.
Okay.
But I'm in the minority because data suggests, no, we don't got milk as a country.
Okay.
So according to the Korea Dairy Committee, milk consumption, so we're talking about plain white milk, last year came to, it's an interesting unit, 22.9 kilograms per person. While that might sound like a lot, that is a 9.5 decrease from the year before and the lowest since the late 1980s.
Okay.
Interestingly, overall dairy consumption increased last year at 4.25 million ton for the entire country, but that's dairy. We're counting cheese, yogurt, and anything else.
Oh, but I love Greek yogurt. That I make at home.
That's true.
Yes. So what could account for this decline?
Well, industry reason, more imported milk is coming in. An increase in import of sterilized milk, 멸균 우유. So that has a longer shelf life. It's cheaper. So not homes per se, but businesses, bakeries, and cafes are favoring this option. Also changes in perception of individuals. Remember, so for our Korea-raised listeners, back in elementary school, we had this thing called 우유 급식. So we would have these flat slats of milk, and you had to drink it all. It was 200 milliliters.
You had to drink it?
You had to drink it. Didn't matter. Lactose intolerance was a thing.
Yes.
People had it, but it wasn't really a thing back then. Food allergies were more seen as why are you being difficult? So everybody drank it. Not a thing anymore. We now fully recognize that food allergies can be fatal.
Yes.
Lactose intolerance is a thing.
Yes.
And some schools apparently, this is going to make us feel old, offer flavored milk. So that's one of the options. You can get 딸기 우유. You can get banana milk.
I want to go back to school.
I know. I'm do workplaces offer this?
Oh, what's your, by the way, sidebar, what's your favorite flavored milk? Dun, dun, dun,
Chocolate.
Okay.
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Okay, we have two chocolates. Banana?
What about banana? Banana. Banana.
바나나요, 교수님? 바나나요?
Banana. No, because we're getting comments right now, people are against 051님, no white milk in all caps, full stop. And they write, so 비려. So they said, 우유 급식 너무 고통스러웠어요.
See, because people don't like the taste of milk.
Tommy says, I love white milk.
Me too.
So,
but some people don't. But then I do know what that pia tastes like because sometimes it's not straight out of the fridge. Sometimes you'd get it like after third period and drink it after fourth. So
it's warm.
It hasn't gone bad.
But it's warm?
It's cool-ish. It's between cool and room temp.
No, it has to be
which is like
ice cold.
Yeah. So, and also interestingly, it's been reported that as many as 75% of the Korean population has some degree of lactose intolerance. So, yeah. So with this, the dairy industry is trying to set itself apart with lactose-free milk, non-dairy milk, and different types of flavored milk.
Right. And I know for like a long time, like parents used to be like obsessed with like the university name milks. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Like that's going to make me smart and get into that university.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But anyhow.
Well, speaking of which,
yes,
they have collaborations with like cream-filled bread. So trying to use up more dairy and cream and milk.
Yeah, so we're getting some responses. Some people like the straight up, like the regular milk. Some people, 재웅정신님 says coffee milk. 생각지도 못했네요. But they have all kinds of flavored milks. Like all over. I tried the melon one. I'm not a fan of that. 그냥 그래요. 그거는 그냥 just the ice cream. All right, next up, let's talk about the reason we're talking about sports today, right? That you played as a child because there's this new study that highlights the importance of an active lifestyle for adolescents.
Get up and get out. Touch grass. Well, that's what y'all are saying. Touch grass. That's like the new phrase for like go out and play.
Right.
Touch grass. Because child and teen obesity is a growing concern in a lot of countries, including here. But this study from, speaking of like fancy schools, Harvard Medical School, so you know it's
fancy,
legit, shows that if teens are active just 30 minutes more than they are now, this could prevent type 2 diabetes later in life.
So
really? Go, leave, run.
Now.
So this study was presented at the American Heart Association's EPI/Lifestyle Scientific Sessions for 2026.
Right. So tell us more about the findings.
Right. So researchers examined health data from this ongoing health study of children who were born between 1999 and 2002 and their mothers. So participants kept sleep logs with an accelerometer, which is basically a sensor that quantifies movement, consistently for about 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
So results. Adolescents who replace 30 minutes of sedentary time, that means sitting down, with more vigorous physical activity, they actually could lower a measurement of insulin resistance by nearly 15%.
Wow.
And insulin resistance is connected to diabetes.
Yes.
So what this is saying, experts say that interestingly, teens who had more moderate to vigorous physical activity, so like fast walking to playing sports early in adolescence showed signs of lower insulin resistance later on. So that is your kind of like almost saving for your health for your later self. So big takeaway, being active in early life can really make a difference for your long-term health.
Well, this is a great story. So like, let's get our butts up and moving and our kids as well.
Right.
Yes. For a final story, this South Korean village welcomed its first newborn in 17 years. Really?
Can you imagine? So this is Eunhamyeon in Daecheonri, the village in Hongseong County in Chungnam, welcomed its first baby boy in 17 years.
Wow.
So the baby was born to mom Dani and dad Jung Hae-deok on the 19th of this month. And they even put up a banner at the entrance of the village, like, welcome baby boy, so-and-so. Also, good news, the town's elementary school added 4 new first graders for this little extra boost in youth child population.
Oh, there you have
the
banner.
Is,
Love
the little prince. Welcome. This is, by the way, the second smallest town in the entire county. Population of 1,954.
I thought that was a date. I don't
know.
No,
it's not the date. That is the number of people.
Okay.
That population has been going down persistently since 2023. They started with 2,153 people. So that's a lot. That's a lot for a small town.
Yeah.
The head of the town said that the news of the baby plus the new first graders, that is really bringing hope for the community.
And that's just a sign of the times. We're celebrating the birth of a baby boy.
The one child.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to call it a wrap for all the Woggly news. Thank you. And people are still talking about the coffee. I mean, and not the coffee, the milk.
Well, the coffee milk and the triangular coffee milk.
So thank you. We'll check in with you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. This was Haley. We're going to take a little song break. This is Waiting for Love by Avicii.
Well, there's a will, there's a way, kind of beautiful. And every night has a state so magical. And if there's love in this life, there's no obstacle that can't be defeated. For every tyrant to tear for the vulnerable. In every loss, all the bones of a miracle. For every dreamer, a dream we're unstoppable. With something to believe in. Monday left me broken. Tuesday I was through with hoping. Wednesday my empty arms were open. Thursday waiting for love, waiting for love. Thank the stars it's Friday. I'm burning like a fire gone wild on Saturday. Guess I won't be coming to church on Sunday. I'll be waiting for love, waiting for love to come around. We are one of a kind, irreplaceable. How did I get so blind and so cynical? If there's love in this life, we're unstoppable. No, we can't be defeated. Monday left me broken. Tuesday I was through with hoping. Wednesday my empty arms were open. Thursday waiting for love, waiting for love. Thank the stars it's Friday. I'm burning like a fire gone wild on Saturday. Guess I won't be coming to church on Sunday. I'll be waiting for love, waiting for love to come around.
It's time for Simply Sustainable. That means Bonnie's here.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm so excited.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm really into today's topic. So
Okay.
I'm all excited.
Okay, but before we jump in, we're talking about, for our text topic, we talked about sports. So what sports did you play when you were little?
Oh,
I tried.
You tried?
Doing the sports that I attempted.
Okay, which
I
were?
attempted basketball.
Oh.
Played like 2 seasons and then it wasn't for me. And then
Like at what age?
like elementary school.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it wasn't your thing.
No,
Not your groove.
wasn't my thing. I tried everything. Like tried tennis, tried swimming. None of them were my strong
None of them
points.
stuck?
Yeah.
And then I saw recently on social media, like, you're a runner now, girl.
I wouldn't
Ooh.
necessarily call myself a runner, but I have done a run. I have
A run is
participated in a run. I didn't run the whole time, but
You
actually it
made
was an
it.
environmental run. That's why I participated, but it was a very short 5K, so I survived. Let's say I survived a run.
But the fact that you got through it.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still alive. I might do another one.
Okay. Well, speaking of environmental, what are we diving into today?
Yes, today I'm so excited about today's topic because I've been waiting to kind of bring this to you guys. But this is the perfect time because on Sunday it was World Water Day, March 22nd, Global World Water Day. And, water is, of course, the most basic human necessity, need, but it's also something I feel like we take the most for granted.
That's true.
Because, we're really lucky to live in a place where we don't have to worry about where our water comes from. We can just turn on the faucet, but it is something really, really precious. And that's why World Water Day, we're bringing awareness to the fact that we actually do need to be a little bit more careful.
And you can give us a little pat on the back because we covered this in our special interview. Was it Friday? We did it.
Great.
Yeah, so we did focus on it.
Hopefully you guys are a little bit more informed, right? Because when we were young, we always heard, save water,
Right.
like turn the faucet off when you brush your teeth, take shorter showers. But we're at the point now where we actually need to be doing more than that.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure if this came out, but the UN just reported that we are in a global water bankruptcy.
And when we hear the word bankruptcy, it's like alarm bells go off, right?
Yes, as it should, because this is much different than just a water crisis, water shortage. Bankruptcy means we're going towards the fact that we might not have water for everybody. I mean, we really don't have water for everybody right now, but we're getting to a very critical point, bankruptcy, where we cannot turn back. So what essentially this means is that we're using up way more fresh water than nature can replenish. So we're using it up way faster than nature can put back into the fresh water, the rivers and lakes and things like that. So getting to the point where the whole system could potentially collapse. So major rivers are failing to reach the sea. Lakes are drying up. Half of the world's largest cities are in water stress. And for those at home, I brought a little visual. Lake Urmia, which is in Iran, once was the Middle East's largest lake. If you look at it now, it's completely dried up. Like no more water there.
I mean, it's like astounding because that's just in a span of 3 years.
Yes. And at one point, this was the world's 6th largest lake.
Wow.
So at this point, it's completely dried up. There's no more water in it. Another visual representation that we can see is that there are around 700 sinkholes popping up all around Turkey, which shows that the underground aquifers, where we get water, underground where all the water is, the water is shrinking, so the aquifers are shrinking, and so the water above is kind of like collapsing down. So there's all these sinkholes that are happening that we can actually visually see, and so this is quite alarming, and it should be cause for concern.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for giving us the visuals.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are listening to us via the radio or our app, I suggest, go to our YouTube page and check these images out.
Yeah, because they're quite shocking when you actually see it in real life, and something quite shocking is around the world, there are about 2.1 billion people who don't have access to safe water. So like I said before, we're quite lucky because we don't have to think about it. We go to the faucet, we turn it on, you want some water, you can get it. We don't really think about it, and it's not hard to get for us.
But still, we should be aware and we should still conserve as much as we can.
Yes, definitely. 75% of the people on this earth actually live in countries classified as water insecure or critically water insecure. And water-related conflicts have doubled since 2022. So we're in a critical state right now, and not enough water also is driving up food prices. So even if we're not in direct relation, like we can have the water, it still affects us indirectly.
Yes.
And the more than 1 million people die every year from lack of access to safe water and sanitation. And this is quite shocking, but every 2 minutes, a child dies from not having water or having sanitation-related diseases.
I mean, still in this day and age?
Yes. So that's why I say we're quite lucky that we don't have to think about these things, right? But there is quite a big water shortage, and it's exponentially speeding up. And, the UN just said we're getting to the point of water bankruptcy. Bankruptcy meaning we don't have any more left.
Yes.
So the reasons behind these shortages is simply that we're using way too much of it. And 70% of the water actually is being used for agricultural uses.
Oh, really?
So livestock, the water that it takes to raise cattle, but then also all the water it takes to grow the food to feed the cattle. So it's not like we're actually using the water to feed ourselves, like humans actually drinking it.
Yes.
It's actually indirectly to farm all the animals, the agriculture, livestock, to keep those alive. And a lot of those, as we know, I've covered this before, a lot of that livestock doesn't even get to the point where we're actually eating it or wasting a lot of it also.
I see.
So just to break it down, 1 pound of beef takes about 1,800 gallons of water to produce.
For 1 pound of meat?
1 pound.
So that's like 0.5, 0.4 kilos?
Yeah. So
of meat?
Of meat. Just
Yes.
one takes 1,800 gallons. So, one of the biggest or one of the best ways that you can cut down on water, save water, is actually reducing your meat intake. So I'm not telling you to completely shut it out, but imagine just one meal. If you just replaced one meat meal a week, that's saving 1,800 gallons. So it does make quite a difference.
That leaves an imprint on my brain. It does.
Yeah, if everybody cut down one meal a week, that would make a huge impact.
Yes, yes.
And this one point I really want to drive home, what I really wanted to stress to everybody.
Yes.
Because I have conversations with people and I realize that not everybody knows this, but water is a limited resource.
But a lot of people don't think that.
Yes. I want to really stress this. It is a limited resource, meaning we cannot just make more water. On Earth, we have a certain amount of fresh water that we as humans can use. And we use this water for washing ourselves, for, of course, drinking, but of course, for growing our food, for washing our dishes, for washing our clothes. So we can't use contaminated water for these things. So there's a certain amount on this Earth, and we cannot just make more of it.
Okay.
And this is kind of like a paradox because people think, oh, our Earth is covered in water. What do you mean?
Seawater.
Yeah, what do you mean we can't? We don't have that much water. But like you said, that's seawater. So I brought a little visual because when I'm teaching this to my students, I think this really helps. So for those that are watching on YouTube, I brought a piece of bread.
Okay.
For our listeners, I just brought a regular piece of bread.
Sure.
This represents all the water on our planet.
Okay.
Right? So this is just all the water in general. So 97.5% of water, of Earth's water, is salt water. So that only leaves us 2.5% fresh water on this planet for us to use. So of this huge piece of bread, like this is actually more than 2.5%, but I'm just going to rip off this tiny little piece just to visual. This is actually bigger, but just so our cameras can't zoom in that much. Just so I can show you, pretend like this is 2.5% all the fresh water that humans can use.
Okay.
Of this, 2.5%, 70% of it is frozen in glaciers or ice caps. So of this 2.5%, only like we're just going to say like this much.
That's 30%
this
left.
is, So this is what is left, right? This is about 0.75% of all Earth's water, right? But a big percentage of this is actually so super deep in the Earth, in the aquifers, that we can't really reach it. So this leaves only about 0.3%. So I'm ripping off bigger pieces just so that you guys can actually see. But now it's like this tiny.
That's what we're left with?
So this is what we're left with that we can use. So of this 0.3% of all of world's water, fresh water, in the rivers and lakes and soil that humans can have access to, a lot of this is actually getting polluted because of agricultural and industrial waste, right? So let's just say this little tiny piece, maybe half of it, it's like getting polluted. So we started off with, say, this much water on the planet, but how much water can we actually use as humans?
Tiny bit.
This tiny little bit. And this is for all the humans on the planet for us to use for everything. So just as a visual representation,
presentation, and for our listeners, I have like a little tiny piece that's like as big as my fingernail, the top of my fingernail, not even the whole fingernail.
Right.
Like I'd say a
big
fourth
crumb.
of a pencil
Right.
eraser, the tip of a pencil
Yes,
eraser.
yes.
So a crumb, basically a crumb of water is
Right.
all we have to use on this whole planet for all of the humans. So this is getting to the point where, you know, us as humans, we think, well, especially for those of us that live in a country like this where we have access to it, we don't really think about it. We don't second guess how much water we have left or if we will have water.
Okay.
But we are getting to the point where we need to start thinking that way because we are running out of it much quicker than we thought, than nature can replace. And like I said, we cannot make more water.
So I do have a question for
Yes.
you. So what is one thing that we can do that can make a difference? Because now that we have the visual of like, I'll never forget that now, that piece of that sourdough bread, or yes, and then we left with like almost like a crumb or like just like a kotakji, like of a, just like a tiny little thing because like it's so tiny.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Yes. So this precious resource that we need to keep safe and keep a lot of for us to use. Okay. I used to say the whole beef thing, not eating meat.
Okay.
That used to be my one go-to. Like, this is the biggest way that you can impact how we can
Even
save
just
water.
one meal a week,
Just
right?
even one meal makes a big difference. But now recently I've switched to not using AI, not using any sort of AI or ChatGPT because that is actually consuming so much water at such a huge, rapid pace that that's becoming the biggest thing that you can do. And just to give you guys in terms of numbers globally, ChatGPT uses 39.16 million gallons of water a day. One day.
Yes.
So think about all of that water and what it could do for us. And just so you guys know, AI, ChatGPT, they use potable water. They use fresh water because they don't want to damage the systems.
Yes.
But after they use that water, it becomes undrinkable. It becomes unusable for humans. So we're basically just throwing that water away.
Right.
So that's 14.28 billion gallons a year. And that's only for ChatGPT. That's
For
not
one
service.
Right,
That's
right,
not
right.
all the other ones that are out there. So I beg of you, everybody out there, if you could use those things less. Try to use an eco browser. Try just even regular searches, not on a like AI thing. That is my one big ask. And I think that if everybody just realizes that we don't have water, that we can't just make more water, then we can make a big difference.
Okay, well, thank you for schooling us. No, really, it was such good information.
Yeah, remember
we
the
have
crumb.
a clear visual.
Remember the crumb. Yes, that's all we
and
have.
we'll check in with you next week.
Thank you so
Bonnie.
much. Have a good day.
All right, and even Michael's saying, that he will now, when he's showering, when he is using, soap, he will turn off the shower, the water as. And now it's spring. It's warm enough, so we can all do that, right? Well, thank you to Bonnie. Thank you to the listeners for tuning in and also sending in your text messages. Final song, Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Inside my bones, it goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights, when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when
it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it. Moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it. So don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move where you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel the good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance.